8600. And now your host, Patrick Highland.
Well, good morning, everyone. And obviously, Patrick Highland is not here today because you're hearing the voice of Scott Levinson. And I'd like to welcome everyone into the Sports Zone today. We have one of our usual co-hosts, Joshua Levinson, in with me. And special guest, Kelsey, I'm going to say this wrong, Baumlin.
Yeah, you got it right.
Wow, I got it right. Well, welcome in, Kelsey. And I'd like to welcome everyone once again into the Sports Zone. We are going to be talking about our usual college football, the upcoming NFL world of sports, and of course, our opinionated selves. And we're going to say it. And we welcome you to call in at 813-282-8283 at any time. Give us your opinion, whether you agree or not. And you can also find us now on YouTube at Sports Zone Tampa, capital S, capital Z, capital T. That's about the extent of my education there. So, as always, Joshua, why don't you, we're going to start off on college football yesterday. There were some big games, some close games, some not so close games we thought would be. So why don't you lead us off into the college football breakdown?
Yeah, no, it was another very, very exciting day. The season's already rolling along. We saw how, some of our local teams here in the state maybe were a little bit overrated, such as the USF Bulls we have here in Tampa and the Gators as well. And it's kind of something we've always said, these preseason rankings can be very, very misleading. And, it allows the teams to kind of shake some things out. But on one hand, it was cool to see the Hurricanes rise up and really cement themselves what appears to be a true national title contender, a top 5 squad. Hopefully the Seminoles can be up there too. But yeah, I think the Bulls got a reality check. And the Gators, I don't know what's going on there. Billy Napier is probably on one of the hottest seats in the country. And DJ Lagway was supposed to be a sleeper Heisman type guy, and he came out.
He's a sleeper.
He came out and threw 5 interceptions, which is hard to do for anyone. So, Kelsey, how you feeling about your Gators on this Sunday morning?
Yeah, everyone. Kelsey is, everyone knows that I'm not a Gator fan, and Kelsey is a Gator fan, but guess what? We're getting along.
Yeah.
So far. Go ahead.
Yeah, big Gator fan. Overall, pretty disappointed with how the season's been shaking out. I think there's some things that are hidden and that you can see in their play. One of those things, kind of watching DJ Lagway, he doesn't look like the same football player he was last year, the same quarterback he was last year, whether that's injury in the offseason that isn't quite there yet, or if it's play calling, not quite sure, but overall pretty disappointed with their performance. But that being said, I was actually really shocked by LSU's offense last night. I thought that it was not as aggressive as everyone had expected it to be. They really only put 13 points up because the last 7 were due to that costly interception from DJ Lagway. But yeah, throwing 5 interceptions is unacceptable. Something's got to change.
You really got to work. You really got to try to do that one.
I know it's disappointing. I mean, when you have a quarterback who's already thrown 3 interceptions, why you continue to throw into double, triple coverage is kind of beyond me. That goes to some of the play calling there that I think is putting Billy Napier on a really hot seat. And he's been asked multiple times, are you going to give it up? Right? Like, you've had pretty consistent errors and issues, particularly in the red zone when it comes to big games. Think about the Tennessee game last year. Are you going to give up play calling? And he's adamant about not doing it. I think it's time he puts down the play calling, gives it to someone else, in hopes of keeping his job.
I mean, if they lose another game, which they're going to, that I don't see him keeping his job after this. If they come out and lose 3 in a row, I don't know if he makes it through this season.
So this is some really, really deep behind the scenes, off the field stuff, they've had a lot of turnover in the administrative department.
Mhm.
Like the president has been poached away. There's just a lot of different things going on. I don't know if they want to deal with that headache. I think they would rather continue to stick with him than also throw in a whole head coaching search.
As you said, there's been a lot of turnover in other positions there. I think they're going to, at this point, with the turnover, the donors, the big alumni backers, and let's get real. It's gotten to the point now, even more with the NIL and the transfer portal, they're almost hostage to their big donors.
There's that. And we've all noticed how the SEC doesn't have the stranglehold that they used to have. They haven't dominated.
They did going into this week. I mean, you looked at the rankings and it was riddled with SEC teams, which I think they were overranked.
I think riddled is a great word to use there. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always kind of held this opinion. I'm a big SEC fan. Obviously, I'm a big Gator fan, but I do think, especially early on in the college rankings, they are very SEC heavy always. And I think it just, you have that problem where you start to come this time around in the season where you're like, oh, I think the SEC might be a little overrated.
I think it's
and overranked.
I think it's easy for these prognosticators.
What are we?
The same as they are, except they get paid a lot more for it. That's why I called them prognosticators. We are just flat out guessing because they get paid more for it than we do.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy. Oh, the SEC, the Big Ten, it's easy. And with this transfer portal, you really got to do your homework now.
Yeah, I think the transfer portals also prevented what you saw before the transfer portal, which was you had 3 to 4 top teams and they stayed there year over year over year, right? Like your Alabama, your Ohio State, your Michigan. And it was almost impossible to compete with those programs because they had more money. They had the Nick Sabans of the world. And they were kind of doing NIL before NIL was really across the board.
You mean they were cheating?
Yeah, for lack of better terms. So I think it is kind of nice to see the transfer portal and to see a little bit less of like an intense SEC, right? Like you don't have a really strong Alabama this year. I think that's kind of fun in college football. And you can kind of see other teams compete where you couldn't see that. On top of that, with the expanded playoff, you don't have to go undefeated to make the playoffs anymore, which I think it makes it more fun.
Right.
But so yeah, it's an interesting environment. I am interested to see what happens.
It's safe to say Florida's not making the playoffs.
Their schedule's
their schedule. I mean, that's the other component to it too. Everyone wants to complain about Billy Napier. Your athletic director gave you the hardest schedule in all of college football 2 years in a row. Well, with a coach like Billy Napier.
My question is USF. If they run the table from here, do they make the playoffs?
So they'd be 11-1 as a small school, and Boise already has a loss. So I think
they have.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if they were to go undefeated, I think they'd have just as good a chance as any small school. The non-power. What is it? Power 4 now?
I mean, they beat 2 top 20 again at the time.
So this is what we always talk about.
Right.
What at the end of the season, where FSU got left out is it your resume? Or is it what you're bringing to the table at that point in the year? If USF goes until December and then all of a sudden the quarterback gets hurt. So, I mean, there's so many things. But if they run the table, you can only win what's in front of you. Look, we could have a playoff game here in Tampa. A college football playoff game at Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa, which would, I mean, how could you not root for that?
No, you could.
That would be awesome.
This year reminds me a lot of back when South Florida was ranked. They beat West Virginia on that Thursday night game. Very similar.
That was the best year in college football.
Yeah,
2007. I mean, you had Iowa State, you had Kansas, Greg Schiano and Rutgers, who then beat USF that next. I mean, that was elite. Matt Grothy with the Bulls, Pat White, and those West Virginia teams.
What did we see yesterday? Were there any shockers? I mean, that
wasn't it an SEC team?
Well, Georgia beat.
The
Oh
Georgia
no,
Tennessee
Georgia
game.
Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
There were a lot of surprises yesterday.
Yeah.
The way Georgia won against Tennessee was insane yesterday. Georgia Tech beating Clemson, I think, puts kind of a bit of the nail in that coffin of Clemson is also overrated this year.
I think
the Notre
Dabo-
Dame Texas A&M game was insane. Notre Dame losing at home after a bye week to
That-
Texas A&M. That's crazy.
The playoffs are going to be wide open because Notre
Yeah.
Dame, we always assume, is locked into that bid basically, and they've already got 2 losses. You figure they're going to get another one. It was South Carolina getting destroyed by Vanderbilt,
Well, Sellers got knocked out early in the second
You know, though,
quarter.
but
You're-
31-7.
Yeah, you have your backup. You can't
No
move
matter
the
how
offense.
bad over the years Vanderbilt has been offensively, they always come up with solid defense. And I don't know if it's the coach, but they always do have a good defense.
They're your traditional SEC team in that sense. No, I mean, we are headed for what looks like going to be a very, very fun November and December of really figuring out who's going to land where and all that good stuff.
I mean, do this early in the season, do we see anyone that is clear away?
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Penn
Oregon
State.
looks good. Penn State looks
Penn
good.
Miami.
State, that's what I was going to say.
I'm a pessimist on Miami.
Of course you are. Of course you're a pessimist on Miami.
Everyone
you would
said
be-
the
your-
exact
your-
same thing about Miami last
Your
year.
diploma would be revoked if you said you liked Miami.
Everyone has said the exact same thing they said the exact same thing about Miami last year. And I said it last year. I said, they're going to slow down. It's going to catch up to them. They're not that good. They're just playing when they're going into playing some of these teams that they're going into play are overranked.
You know what Miami has, and it overcomes a lot. in
Miami,
football.
where they
Yeah.
are, South
Well,
Beach.
besides that, they are very fast.
Yeah.
They are an extremely, and I'm talking from their linemen all the way down. They are a fast team.
It's a
Well,
geographical
they're a mini
advantage.
NFL team too.
Of course.
Most of their team are 5th, 6 years.
So I would
in.
say
like
well,
Carson,
most
there's a
of
reason
their-
Carson Beck didn't go to the draft. It's because
Yeah.
no one wants to draft him.
and that I think so. Cam Ward individually in a vacuum, better quarterback than Carson Beck. I think
Absolutely.
we'd all agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
On this Miami team, on this offense, I think Carson is a better fit than Cam was.
I think Carson Beck is a really good quarterback when you don't put any pressure on him in the pocket. And they haven't faced a defense that can do that.
If he
When
didn't
they
have that
face a
goofy look on his
defense-
face, would you think a little bit more highly of him?
No, I
Okay.
wouldn't because I watched him closely at Georgia. And like last year, Florida's defense not very good, putting pressure on Carson Beck in the pocket. He can't he's not a dual threat. He can't run. So if he's not protected in the pocket and can't get the ball out, he's not that
You
good.
know, and
Put him
I-
up against a top 10 defense. I'm down on Carson Beck.
Okay. Well, that's fair. But, you call Miami a sort of pro team, but for years, you could say that about Ohio State. We could say that.
They are.
I mean, right.
So
That's
here's,
why,
for me-
USC.
And those teams still are, but there's more competition. I think the difference, if you want to go back to like we were saying at the top of the segment, talking about the Gators, with this NIL era, schools and entire programs, like you were talking about, being beholden to the boosters, teams have had to choose, okay, how much are we going to care about athletics compared to academics? I think Miami has made much more of a commitment to their football team in this NIL era. There's a lot of money going on down there, but it's Miami. You know, a lot of those stereotypes do check out. And Florida, I think, cares a lot more about their academics. I think that school has made it. Look, come on. I'm not. We don't need to be all homer about it.
I
I'm
don't
not
think that
being a
that's
homer
entirely
about it,
true
but
because
come
you also
on.
I threw
think
you a
that's-
bone there. That was a layup.
I think
No,
that's
she's right.
insane.
That's-
I mean, you like that is an approach solely focused on football. Look at Florida's athletics outside of football. Gymnastics has gone to the championship like the last
In your basketball
multiple
team
times. Our
won.
basketball team just won. Our women's volleyball team is phenomenal.
So your
Our
focus,
baseball team has consistently made good runs late in the season.
How can they
Way less
I mean,
never-
it's a vacuum focused solely on
That's fair.
football.
That's
I think
very
our football
fair.
program is struggling. I'm not going to say that we're crushing it over there.
and I would say because you have priorities in other areas, all the things you just listed, And again, I think Miami compared to the Gainesville in
I
terms
think
of
our other
academic
athletics
focus.
have longer tenured coaches and better coaches. Like the next youngest coach we have in a big program is basketball, and that
Right.
was a great pickup. And they also trusted him through a rough year. His first like 2 years were really rough.
So with that being said, because we're gonna have to get to a break here, is Billy Napier the answer? Do you still
No.
believe in him? No. So
I didn't
you wanna,
believe in him last
So you
year.
want to fire him
I think
yesterday?
I think he's the worst offensive play caller in all of college football.
Oh,
That's
Ooh.
harsh. That's harsh.
ooh.
That's harsh.
But yeah, as far as the top teams, Ohio State, Oregon looks good. Miami, I think FSU looks
Oregon.
Oregon.
FSU does look good.
Yeah, we'll have to see because FSU does always have those crazy games. But if Castellanos, the Black Italian Stallion, if he can keep doing what he's doing out there, look out, team.
All right, folks, we are going to head into our first break of the show. We will be back right with you. We'll pull more about college football, and then we will move on to the pros. Call us at 813-282-8283. Don't make her the only brave Gator fan. Let's go, folks.
Happy Sunday from the Sports Zone with Patrick Highland. And we do hope that it's a happy day and that everything is going as well for you and your family as it possibly can. That today is a good day and that you have many, many more good days in front of you. But no matter how well any of us are doing on this good day, the unfortunate reality of life remains that all of us are likely to face bad days in the future, no matter how distant that future may seem right now. When it comes to matters of health, particularly as we and our loved ones get older, it's predictable that all of us are likely to face hard challenges the longer we live, and that is multiplied by the amount of people we are directly responsible for. You may not want to ask yourself this question, but what if something unexpected happened to you today or tomorrow? How would your family be impacted, particularly those who are relying on you? Is there a plan in place for the bad days that all of us will inevitably face? Just like the best time to prepare for the storm is before storm season arises, so too is it best to prepare for the toughest seasons of your life during these times, which are relatively good and free from the storms. If you don't feel confident that you're prepared for those bad days ahead, either for yourself or your family, give Patrick Highland a call right now. 813-966-1052. That's 813-966-1052. Patrick has insurance solutions and years of experience helping people plan for their financial future and guiding them through the storms of their lives. When it comes to matters of health, finances, and the challenges that go along with getting older, Patrick's experience can help you find the right answers. You can't ensure that bad days ahead won't happen, but you can insure yourself against the worst possible scenarios. So buy yourself some peace of mind while your skies are still peaceful and call Patrick Highland today. 813-966-1052. That's 813-966-1052. And if you're a veteran, we thank you for your service.
Welcome back to the Sports Zone. Let's get back to the discussion. In Hillsboro, 813-289-1860. Anywhere else, toll free 877-969-8600. And now your host, Patrick Highland.
Well, as you all figured out by now, this is not Patrick Highland. Patrick is out in the field reporting on scene. We have no idea what scene. We have no idea what he's reporting on.
Yeah, if he could call in.
Yeah,
and tell us,
I mean,
cool.
that would be wonderful. But we were discussing before the break the demise of the Gators, and no,
That's a little
that's
dramatic.
a little dramatic. But I don't want to say I'm a Gator hater. I just think that Gator fans, it's time to go to confession and admit that this isn't your year. And you've done that.
Yeah,
You've done that.
I also I think that we are all forgetting how we ended last season, right? Like last year, we had the hardest schedule in all of college
Yes.
football,
Yes.
and people didn't think we'd have more than 3 wins.
Right.
And this year looks very similar to what it looked like last year. So is it time to completely throw in the towel on the season? I don't know. Are there some harsh realities we have to admit about our quarterback and our program? Yeah.
Well, and I can't say. I mean, I'm a Tulane guy. I mean, we are 3-0, but next week we could get blown out by 50 points.
Florida might only be favored in one more game the rest of the whole season.
Yeah, we got the hardest schedule in college football.
Clearly, I'm looking now. This is insane.
That's the problem. We were supposed to go into that game last night with 2 wins.
Well,
and
good thing you got to play the Little Ladies of Long Island to start the season.
I didn't even know Long Island had a college before that game. So
why? This is another thing that bothers me. Why does everybody do this when like Florida plays a no-name school? Look at LSU's
They all
calendar.
do.
Look at LSU's schedule.
No,
everyone,
I'm
always
always
crap for it.
I'm
Yeah.
always against
LSU
that. I
has
mean,
like 3 games on their schedule that are out of conference that are just absolute baloney.
So why does Florida do this to themselves? Do y'all need the money? Like why do this?
I don't. It's a Strickland thing. If there's one person I'm down on that's not Billy Napier, it's Strickland. I don't like him. I haven't liked him for a while.
Here is a possible Florida donor who will not, I said possible, who will not give her money as long as Strickland and Napier keep doing what they're doing and they're there.
That's fair. So we did say, and we'll get off the Gators here shortly, but you did say you don't want Billy. Do you know who you'd want to replace him with? Alex Golish?
Would you take the rumor of Chucky?
I would take anyone other than Billy
I
Napier
would
at this point.
no.
Although I do have to say, I think I would keep Billy Napier if he got a good play caller.
If you
Especially last year, I actually gained a lot of respect for Billy because I was real down bad on him. The fact that he didn't lose his locker room after the way he started the season last year. I went to the Texas A&M game last year.
I'm sorry.
He was booed. Going into the tunnel in halftime. Then they played a "Don't Drink and Drive" commercial, and the entire stadium booed his commercial, like his advertisement not to drink and drive. He was like hated at that Texas
That's
A&M
rough.
game, and he didn't lose his locker room. And I think that that's really impressive because if you look at the Florida State coach last year, like he clearly lost his team. And for Billy not to do that, I think is really impressive.
So,
he's still a horrible play caller.
as a Gator fan, and we could end it on this, would you be happy if Mr. John Chucky Gruden got the job? I think he'd be awesome
She
there.
said she does. It's not it's a matter of just pushing out whoever it is.
Yeah, I think he'd be awesome.
Look, I think that's the bigger question. Does Gruden want to coach college over a professional team? That's what it seems like to me, the way he's positioning
and I
himself.
think he'd bring
Barstool.
and of course he'd bring in players would and what people in something else in these NIL deals, I don't know if they work the same, and we need to do a little research on it, but these players getting all this big money out of these schools to come play in Florida, is it like a pro? Do you pay taxes on that money, or you don't have to pay the state taxes on it? That's a big draw.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting, like, look at what happened with Carson Beck. I mean, he chose to go to Miami instead of going into the draft. One, because I don't think anyone would have drafted him after
he
his
got paid
performance in
more,
Georgia.
probably.
And he's making more money in Miami
Which
off
is
of his
crazy.
NIL than he will in the NFL. Because, I mean, I said it earlier, I stand by it, overrated.
I think he's doing what we've seen it all the time, where there's people that don't have any pro prospects and they got to cash in now. So in that sense, I love the NIL. Remember when UCF had that undefeated season?
Yeah.
The quarterback they had.
I mean, when they won the national championship.
Exactly. You know, it can.
I felt the same way when Tulane went undefeated that year too.
When FSU went undefeated and they were left out.
But
that does show FSU's recovery this season so far. It's still early. Does show how big of a difference it can make. Because like you're saying, oh my gosh, our coach, who's Norvell, good Lord. He lost the team last season.
He lost the team last year.
And that is almost impossible for people to come back from. All of a sudden now it's a brand new world. You beat Alabama, you got a new quarterback, and all of a sudden, he traded the hot seat and gave it over to Billy. Did you see during game day yesterday, McAfee and the crew were interviewing DeBoer, the Alabama head coach, he's like walking on the field. It's a live interview, which I don't know how often they do that. And the Tennessee fans in the background all started doing the chop and the chant.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, speaking of moving on and to bigger and better things, we have, we're only entering the second week of the NFL season. There's some big games that some teams, if they fall to 0-2 in their division, they're going to have some problems already.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of stuff going on with, this. I don't know. This season's wide open. It feels wide open. The Chiefs don't feel like they're as dominant as they used to be. The Eagles showed some big holes already, and if that was just because they lost Jalen Carter, like nobody thought they'd be playing the Cowboys that close. Our Bucks right here, who a lot of people loved as a sleeper, we did not look good last week without Wirfs at all.
You know what though? How many sacks? He was sacked once.
It doesn't matter because
the Bucks also got lucky last week.
So lucky.
Baker should have had 2 interceptions, and the Falcons just happened to drop those.
But the Falcons also got lucky too when you have your odd. Let's get real. Baker overthrew 2 touchdown passes that there was obvious touchdowns that he normally doesn't do. Baker Mayfield, for some reason, when you look at his numbers, he's a top quarterback in the NFL. He's outperformed the Bills quarterback. He's outperformed the Chiefs. He's had more touchdowns and more touchdowns, more yards. And he's still looked at as almost a second-tier quarterback.
No. Well, he also has more interceptions than all of those quarterbacks. As much as he led the league in passing last year, but he got lucky in that Falcons game. He should have had 2 interceptions.
Right. But he should have had 2 more touchdowns too.
The point
but my point is, he might lead the league in passing yards or touchdowns, but he also leads the league in interceptions.
The Jameis 30-30 special.
You can't win big games and lose the turnover
But if you look at his numbers, like I said, compare him to Josh Allen. In the last 3 years, more touchdowns, less interceptions. Dude. Compare him to the greatest quarterback to ever live. I don't think he is. More touchdowns, less interceptions.
No, Baker has more interceptions than Josh Allen.
You're cherry picking numbers.
Yeah, because Josh Allen last year, Josh Allen last year was much better on the turnover. The year before that, it was bad. He would fumble the ball in the end zone or throw an interception on the 1-yard line.
Should be an elite quarterback. He should be recognized as a top 5'8"
He would be if he was. Okay, 5'8" is not elite. Now you're throwing too much out there at once. Okay, you reference
compare the numbers.
I heard you. You referenced Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, who are clearly MVP, Super Bowl elite. There's not anyone worth their salt that would take.
Pull their numbers up compared to his.
Numbers don't lie, people do. You're doing funny stuff
also
right
again
now.
Those quarterbacks win those more important big games because they're not turning the ball over as much as Baker Mayfield.
They are consistent as
they
heck.
lose the Bucks had lost big games because Baker turns the ball over too late in the game.
Who won the Super Bowl last year?
The Eagles.
Because Mahomes turned the ball over.
Bruh.
Why did Josh Allen lose that game before?
Because they couldn't execute a tush push on 4th and 1 to get 1 yard.
And they also...
So you think that Baker would have won those games?
Yeah.
I think Baker needs to be mentioned in the same conversation. Stop looking at what happened 5 years ago.
You said the conversation that he should be in. He's in that 5 to 10, not the 1 to 4.
So are they. I don't...
Then who are the best quarterbacks in the league, dude? You really want to do this conversation?
I think Baker is one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
When you say one of the best...
Top 5 best quarterbacks.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Look at
and then Baker Mayfield is 5?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm asking.
So we're going to ignore what he's done.
That's what I'm asking.
We're going to ignore his numbers.
No one's ignoring it. You're ignoring the other starting quarterbacks in the league. There's 32 of them.
No other team is, and how many of them have won? Guys, you're discounting what he's accomplished.
No one. Just because you're elevating someone doesn't mean that we're discounting anything.
I also don't. I think that he's actually created a lot of good buzz in the NFL because he's kind of allowed a lot of the other quarterbacks to have what they're calling like their Baker Mayfield moment. Right. He's kind of coined a new phrase.
He's everything you want out of a quarterback in terms of the intangibles. Everyone says he's a great locker room guy. He's a good looking guy. He's charismatic. He did the whole planting the flag thing, Heisman winner. He's got the background. He's always been he fits the piratey mold.
Pirate.
Like he's just
Also like in the league, you see other you see like people talking and you see other quarterbacks almost striving to have their Baker Mayfield moment, right? Like he gets drafted to Cleveland. He does nothing in Cleveland. He goes to the Panthers, does nothing in the Panthers. Then he comes to the Bucs and he becomes this hot shot. I think you're going to start to see that with other quarterbacks in the league. Like Justin Fields, I kind of like what I'm seeing out of him.
I like him.
Like, is he going to have his Baker Mayfield year? He could.
I mean, Baker Mayfield made one of the most amazing plays. And it was one play, but like you said, that moment when he was scrambling to his right, and who was it? Bosa was hanging all over him. And
last year, that was awesome. It was a great play.
That's a moment that's one of the best plays I've ever seen a quarterback make.
Absolutely.
That's the moments you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I've seen Lamar Jackson pull rabbits out of his hat every week. So look, if we all agree that those top 4 guys are the top 4 guys, then I give this next tier, because you said second tier. That is the first tier.
No, I say he's looked at as a second tier.
Because he is. Justin Herbert.
I think he's better than him.
All right.
But anyways, we can come back and argue some more because we're up against a hard break. We ask you all to come back. And like I said, check us out on YouTube, folks. We have perfect faces for radio, but check us out anyways. That's YouTube at Sports Zone Tampa, capital S, capital Z, capital T. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Sports Zone.
Happy Sunday from the Sports Zone with Patrick Highland. And we do hope that it's a happy day and that everything is going as well for you and your family as it possibly can. That today is a good day and that you have many, many more good days in front of you. But no matter how well any of us are doing on this good day, the unfortunate reality of life remains that all of us are likely to face bad days in the future, no matter how distant that future may seem right now. When it comes to matters of health, particularly as we and our loved ones get older, it's predictable that all of us are likely to face hard challenges the longer we live, and that is multiplied by the amount of people we are directly responsible for. You may not want to ask yourself this question, but what if something unexpected happened to you today or tomorrow? How would your family be impacted, particularly those who are relying on you? Is there a plan in place for the bad days that all of us will inevitably face? Just like the best time to prepare for the storm is before storm season arises, so too is it best to prepare for the toughest seasons of your life during these times, which are relatively good and free from the storms. If you don't feel confident that you're prepared for those bad days ahead, either for yourself or your family, give Patrick Highland a call right now. 813-966-1052. That's 813-966-1052. Patrick has insurance solutions and years of experience helping people plan for their financial future and guiding them through the storms of their lives. When it comes to matters of health, finances, and the challenges that go along with getting older, Patrick's experience can help you find the right answers. You can't ensure that bad days ahead won't happen, but you can insure yourself against the worst possible scenarios. So buy yourself some peace of mind while your skies are still peaceful. And call Patrick 966-1052. That's 813-966-1052. And if you're a veteran, we thank you for your service.
Welcome back to the Sports Zone. Let's get back to the discussion. In Hillsboro, 813-289-1860. Anywhere else, toll free 877-969-8600. And now your host, Patrick Highland.
Welcome back to the Sports Zone, everyone. Patrick Highland is on hiatus, so I'm your host, Scott Levinson, filling in. And we are here with Joshua Levinson and our guest, Kelsey Bomlin. I've got that name right twice.
Yeah.
I am doing good. We have a caller on the line, our favorite, the one and only Vito. What's going on, Vito?
Hi, Zone 1 and 2. How you guys doing? You threw Patrick off, I see. Good job. Good job. Got a nice little lady. It's good.
Well, tell me, how does this show sound without the big guy at the controls?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't even take it.
So we got to start off with you. I'll turn it over to Joshua about last week's tennis match?
Man, here we go.
Go ahead, Josh.
Look, he called in. Vito's the one that called in. He can take the reins.
Hey,
here.
listen, hey, I'm Italian. I'm good at losing wars and then bets, apparently. So,
Look, man, Sinner plays well. It's just Carlito has that extra gear in him. He's got a little bit of a lower floor. Sinner's more consistent, but he
he needs to make the first serve. That's what it needs to. That's what was. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Are we eating chicken nuggets?
Well, not me, my kids.
Okay.
Gotta be for the kids.
Gotta be for the kids.
Of course.
Yeah, whatever you want us to believe, Vito, we got you.
Exactly. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah. So Scott, I'm 2 in the hole to you now, not Scott, Josh. So if I bet you, Josh, I'll be 2 in the hole too. So I ain't making no more bets. But yeah, the first serve killed him that day, and Alcaraz was just he just was too good.
He was, but again, they're still very exciting. The things that they pull off is incredible. The tennis needs to work on the scheduling, though. The fact that was on during week 1 of the NFL, move it up a week or something. The overlap was brutal.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely was brutal, but that's the way it is. Labor Day, Labor time, all that
good stuff.
But it was really, really exciting stuff. So what happened? Did you toss Highland? Is he gone?
We are actually we don't know where he is. We figured he
went to Oxford.
Oxford. Okay.
Yeah, the Ole Miss game.
There you go. He's at the Ole Miss game. We figured we'd get a report from the field or something.
He's too busy flirting with the co-ed.
But he might be he's been talking a lot about those Viking cheerleaders, so he might be on the hunt. I don't know.
He needs to relax with that. Jeez.
So Vito, I don't know if you're going to help me out here, but give me your opinion on Baker. How do you feel?
You're asking the wrong cat here. You're asking.
Well,
the wrong cat.
I know, but I'm throwing you a softball, Vito. How do you feel about Baker?
Listen, he is good. Okay, he ain't great. He's good. You cannot. I mean, and I'll emphasize cannot with the big quotations and the big bubbles that you cartoons use. Not in the same category as Mahomes, Allen, and Jackson, and it's not even that close, brother. Numbers are numbers. I saw Facebook the other day that they showed the numbers between Allen and Mayfield. Maybe that's where you got this from, Scott. I don't know, but it said he's got more yards, he's got more touchdowns, he's got this, he's got that, and then all 743 comments were, "What about Allen's rushing yards and rushing touchdowns? If you throw in there, then it looks like it's lopsided the other way." But Allen.
And he's got a higher quarterback rating overall.
Well, yeah, you know what? But here's the thing: when you throw as much as he did and does, you're going to accumulate some numbers. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from him because he's done really, really good the last 2 years. But he has misfalls, mishaps, mistakes that those other 3 guys don't have. He has them more. Like you just talked about a little bit before. The 2 overthrows, the 2 touchdowns that were missed. London catches that pass in the end zone. There's a couple of things, and that game could have went the other way. Now, you can say that a lot about a lot of guys and a lot of things, but you can say that a lot about him too. And here's a guy that started had 4 different teams in 4 different years. If he was that guy, then that wouldn't have been. Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen, they're probably going to be where they're going to be forever, and there's a reason for that.
Consistency is key, man.
And Mayfield has graduated, and he has got to a point that he's gotten to, like you said, I'm not going to say elite, but he's right there. That's second tier. The beginning of second tier, I'll even say. I would have him as my quarterback.
I would like to see him play with an offensive coordinator more than 1 year, too. Which the other guys have had that he hasn't, and he's still been successful.
Patrick Mahomes would trade his left nut to have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Emeka Pikabuka, as Chris Berman affectionately called him.
Well, so would Mayfield if they were all healthy at the same time.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't read too much into the guys you have that are throwing it. You've also got to throw them the ball. It's nice to have guys that can get up and get it, and the Godwin as consistent as he is.
Yeah,
man, just want to say that real quick. But,
no doubt.
it's Mahomes has been doing it, with guys that are second-tier receivers.
Mhm.
They never had on Mike Evans. Never, they had Hill for a
Tyreek
while,
Hill.
obviously, but
Travis
never had
Kelce.
and Travis Kelce. Yeah, well, you know what, Travis Kelce's pretty good.
Okay, come on now. Come
Used to
on.
be pretty good. Now
All
he's
right.
taking his own teammates out. That's what he's doing now.
No one's ever done it alone. I think that goes for most sports. Phil Jackson never won without Kobe or MJ, and vice versa. I think there's Tom Brady and Bill. Well, Brady then came down to one, but we were loaded then too.
Yeah.
So again, nobody can ever do it alone, especially in football. There's never been a elite, incredible receiver that didn't have at least a pretty darn good quarterback throwing in the ball. Even Megatron had Stafford.
Well put. The young whippersnapper. He's pretty smart.
He-
So hey, listen. Hey, I want to let the young lady talk. So listen,
She knows more than all of us, so go ahead.
No,
It sounds like. So how did they rope you into this?
Josh looped me into it, but it's a one-time.
I put out the
thing,
bat signal. We needed help. Patrick left us hanging.
Well, you're pretty brave, young lady. I got to tell you that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
I'm not so sure she doesn't know more about football than Patrick.
Who knows these days?
Goes without saying.
I will say though, Vito, all fair, she did make a great point that your boy Sinner probably should have gotten a couple of titles taken because of that little steroid nonsense.
Oh, the blood doping or whatever it was. Whatever.
I mean, don't get me
don't
wrong.
make me
He's a
laugh.
phenomenal
Don't
tennis player, but any other player probably would have gotten some of their titles stripped.
Yeah, don't let me call out my countrymen, please. I get enough trouble. We lose everything, like I told you before. You want me to lose titles too, geez.
All right, Vito. Before we let you go, give us your pick on the Bucks game tomorrow night.
Oh, gotta do. I can't really see them losing, unless they do, of course. But
Okay.
that says a lot, right? I really gave you a good thing there.
Thanks.
But I think that they will be able to do what they need to do and get past them. Now I will say this. Excuse me, I'm just a guy caught in front of me. What's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Anyway,
this is a sports show. Not only do we get sports, we get chicken nuggets and road rage. We have it all right here.
Yeah, there's a little street and carpet here. I mean, what are people doing? Anyway, Houston's a good team, good defense, okay? If they play like they did last week, I think the Bucks handle them. If they play better, it is on the road for the Bucks. Houston could win if Chubb has a good game running the ball, which I don't think he will. Then Stroud's going to have to beat them. And if Collins and the kid Higgins and they play well, it's all about the offensive line for Houston. They hold up, they got a chance. They don't. The Bucks win by a touchdown, maybe more.
You feel better about our secondary a little bit?
As a Bucks secondary, you mean?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Whitfield plays like two guys. I don't know if you guys realize now I used to play DB, in high school, million years ago. But the play he made, even pros nowadays, they don't do what he does and do what he did on that play. Because that game over, if anybody else is out there, and I remember the play late in the game when he, took the body away from the ball by going through the tackle.
Without hitting the head.
But it was one of the best, clean hits and, ball movements I've seen in a long time. And it's very hard to do that. And, Whitfield's gifted. And the way he went after the ball and the guy, going right through the tackle, separating, the kid from the ball. A lot of times you go for the ball, you go for the body. You go for the body, the guy catches the ball. You go for the ball, you miss the ball, the guy catches the ball. He made sure he went to both different things, using his arm, using his shoulder, his body. It was a great play. Without that, I do think they lose. But that said, with him back there, as long as he's healthy, I think the other guys will feed off him. And good people make people not as good a little bit better. You play to that competition. You step up, you rise up to the people next to you sometimes. So I think with him, everything relies with him. They'll be better with him healthy, play into his A game, and they'll be just fine. He'll give up plays here and there. But like I said, he's the key in that defense. Forget the linebackers, forget the defensive line. To me, he's it.
Agreed. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Vito. We will send your regards to Patrick if we see him again. And no. And we will are you and Joshua good? No tennis this week?
Nothing. He said he's got to take some weeks off. He's got to earn his.
I ain't betting him no more. I'll keep losing.
All right, Vito, I appreciate it. Have a good week, and we will talk to you next Sunday.
All right, guys. Ciao. Have a good one.
Take care. So, what do we all think? We might as well start off with the Bucks. AJ, we okay on a break, or we need to go to the break first? Let's go around the NFL, Joshua.
I think with the Bucks, I mean, I agree with what Vito was just saying in terms of Houston's offensive line, because they didn't give Stroud any protection last week. We don't really have a pass rush either, for starters. So, I mean, it's kind of like your movable object versus resistible force or whatever it is. But we also, Luke Gedeke is now questionable too. And Wirfs is out again. So we could be without 2 starting offensive linemen. We're already shuffling around. Like, we moved our center off of the center position last week. You don't see that very often.
No.
So I'm not getting a lot of confidence that we necessarily
Or
have a good solution here.
Or are we confident that we've got pretty good offensive linemen that are interchangeable? We don't know yet.
I mean, yeah, that's the
You really
we don't have
know
the
yet.
luxury of options, to be completely honest with you.
Or, like I said, we either were really in the bad way, or you've got offensive linemen that are very interchangeable and next man up.
Right. And we'll find out one way or another, because Houston
But-
does have a good pass rush. But no, there were some holes last week, like Kelsey was touching on, that Atlanta didn't exploit. Obviously, the missed field goal at the end of the game alone. But I don't know.
They definitely, one play I can remember them spying Baker, so he couldn't run. But after that, they let Baker pretty much.
Yeah. The defenses, people are still going to try to figure out what to do with Ibuka. So once we have Godwin back too, I can't imagine what the offense is going to look like. Bucky didn't look great last week.
Well, they doesn't have a line.
Well, he didn't. I thought
agree.
the
That's
run
the problem
game
with
was.
Bucky.
But I'll tell you what. I think when Godwin comes back, teams are in a quandrum, because that last touchdown that he caught, you saw the linebacker come up on Evans, you saw the corner jump Evans, and you saw the safety freeze. You put Godwin into that mix, who you double team?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, but you wouldn't lose at the line. So if you don't have a line to protect Baker to get the ball out to Godwin or Evans or Ibuka,
Yep.
you're in trouble. And that is, I think, the bigger problem.
No,
the
I
bigger hole
agree.
where the Bucks are
But
right now. They've got weapons.
when you
Baker's
put-
got weapons.
when
If
you
don't have
bring
time to take
Godwin-
advantage of them, it doesn't
And if
matter.
you also have, I mean, Bucky is incredible, but if you can't create a pocket for him, he can only do so much. He's gonna,
110%.
and that's exactly what you saw against the Falcons.
With Godwin back, though, that compensates a lot.
It will be. We got to get there.
But what that compensates a lot for is the pass protection. You saw
Wirfs
something,
will be back.
right? But you also saw something last game that you rarely see in the Bucks, and even on that last touchdown, they put Evans in the slot quite a few times.
Mhm.
When Godwin's back, they're not going to do that. And Godwin is an amazing first step off the ball receiver. He leaves the defenders at the line, and with him in the slot, and if you're going to double Evans, that means he's going to be covered by a strong safety or a linebacker. I'll take that quick throw cross with Godwin 9 times out of
For
10.
sure. We just need to be at least 2-2 coming out of this month. That's really what it is.
I feel very confident.
And we'll
about
see. We
that.
got Philly. We're underdog tomorrow night.
Philly always struggles against the Bucks, though.
Hopefully, hopefully
They
these teams
do,
are a little
so.
different. They're going to be coming looking for revenge, because we have beat them a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love the Bucks getting the 3.5 tomorrow night. For all the sports wagerers out there,
I would take the Bucks in the points.
plus 3.5.
Yeah.
I think Houston wins though. That's trying to thread the needle there. I think they'll win by a couple.
I think the Bucks by 4.
Yeah, I think I don't know by how much, but I think the Bucks take that one.
It'll be low
Mhm.
scoring. We're on the road. I think it'll be a little sloppy. I don't think
Alright.
it'll be a shootout, lots of popping off. But you were referencing Mike Evans. We have this ongoing thing about Mike Evans and Devontae Adams. He's confident that Mike Evans is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I say him and Devontae have like the same career. So if one,
Sure.
then they both. So their stats last week, they both had exactly 51 yards. 4 catches for 51
There
yards,
you go.
5 catches for 51 yards.
There
So
you go.
that's the board for that's where we're at with all that.
All right, let's go around the state. Miami Dolphins for Patrick.
Woo. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Oh no, you can start with that one, Josh.
We said before it was a lot
poor
of bad.
Dolphins.
Yeah, it was a lot of bad vibes coming out of camp. Tyreek Hill looks like he's getting into that bad Antonio Brown diva prima
Yeah.
donna, Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco, whatever, where it starts to cause some ripples in the locker room. I think Tua and Mike McDaniel, that whole offense has just been figured out at this point. There's enough tape on them. There's not so much trickery. It's just kind of, if you can get them off the first read, then it all falls apart.
Tua's also taking a lot less risk than he probably did his first year before all those concussions. So he's another one you put pressure on him and
you're
he's
stuck
down.
with him.
Yeah, I mean, and also I know it's not always worth it, but like Tyreek Hill seems like he's a problem in the locker room, and also there's stuff happening off the field that I think is solidifying a lot of the issues in the locker
And
room.
McDaniel doesn't seem to. We were talking about the beginning of the show about getting your locker room back or losing it. McDaniel does not come across as
the Dolphins they've got
many
problems.
shots as Tua's taken. I'm not even sure if he thinks he's playing for the Dolphins or the Chargers at times.
Yeah, and now
It's
they're
a shame
saying
he would have been a good quarterback.
They're saying he's like colorblind or something now. I don't know.
Well, they said the same thing about Jameis.
Well, he actually was blind.
So that's true.
But no, so with all that being said, they are facing a Patriots team that looked pretty bad last week too. So I mean, I think
this is a toss-up.
It's in
Flip a
Miami.
coin.
This is
You might have watched some better college football than you will see in the Miami in the Miami game today.
All right.
I'll take New England by a field goal.
Yeah, I'll take New England.
I will too, because I hate. No, I won't. I hate New England. I'm taking Miami just because I hate New England.
And then,
all right, and let's move around with 2 minutes left. Let's move up to Fabio and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So again, we were talking about the Bucks and all that. We still don't even know. Like, is our offense coordinator any good? Was it all Liam Cohen that was doing all that stuff last year? And so I still believe in Cohen. I think he's going to be good for the Jags. They shouldn't beat this Bengals team, because the Bengals just need to be better. But yeah, I'll go with the upset. Why not? Jags by a field goal in Cincinnati.
It's in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The Bengals always start slow. They always have dumb losses in the beginning of their season.
They
barely beat the Browns last week, which is it's a rivalry of Ohio, so I can kind of understand that. But I like the Jags in this one.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing as the Bucks to me. They've got so many weapons. Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud.
They also, the new coach, they look like they have a whole new energy into that locker room. I think Trevor Lawrence actually healed up better in the offseason than DJ did.
110%.
It's and we didn't get to our raise, but I don't know if there's anything to get to.
They had an exciting win last night.
I mean, they did
yesterday.
They did.
Like, there's the slim playoff hope is still there. That's the fun of expanding the playoff field, is that the teams last a little longer, even if it's all false hope.
The best play in
baseball. Go Yanks, baby.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the best play in baseball this week was the Yankee ball girl down the first baseline making a snag. That was the best catch in play in baseball for the week. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on the Sports Zone. We expect Mr. Highland back next week, and we want to thank everyone, and we will see you on YouTube in 8:60 a.m. Peace, Tampa Bay. Peace and respect.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at